Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I want to talk to you about day one of Heloise the Hollow. This was a clip from a recent members live event where we're going to talk about the last 20 minutes of the sale, the exciting action at the finish line, the finish price. Was it a good deal? Was it a bad deal? What are the future prices that I'm expecting for the next days and weeks of this sale? And how might the broader cryptocurrency bull market impact the sales of this amazing promo card? There's tons in here and it is a replay, but I think you'll enjoy it. And I hope if that sounds interesting, stick around. But otherwise, just thank you for your time. Have an amazing day. God bless. Let's go look at the auction. 18 minutes left. Let's hang out and talk auction and just see what happens and if there are any fireworks. Was there another bid here in the last? No. Is Housewife just going to sit? No, I don't believe that this is the end of the bidding. There will be more bids in the next 18 minutes. So let's hang out and watch what happens here. 1.3 million DC is a big win. I'm going to post on X. 1.3 million DC for this amazing promo. No, auction, Splinterlands card is amazing. But I do not believe this price will hold. More bids coming. I think so. Boom. I think that's going to be true. Let's find out if it's true. I can't believe it, but somebody's going to try and snipe it, aren't they? And Housewife, if you're, I'm sure Housewife is like just watching this, like literally watching this. On eBay, there's a way where you can be like, I will bid 1.347 all the way up to 1.5. Like you can do that kind of thing with eBay. In the future, I would think that Splinterlands should probably do that. There will be a really disappointed person who if somebody comes in and snipes this off Housewife for 1.348, Housewife will be probably upset, I would think, unless Housewife is like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have did that, which I've done on auctions. Have you done that where you go, you place a bid and you're like, yeah, it's a little high, but I guess I want it. And then you start, gets closer and you're like, oh, well, I kind of want somebody to outbid me. Just take it from me. But I bet Housewife's serious. Like Housewife's setup is crazy. I think I almost want to look at it quickly. Look at that. 44 million owned power, 45 million owned power, and modern 50, she's one of the ones fighting for the tippy top. And again, taking a moment to look at the leaderboards, how Lorcas, Housewife, and Vedev or Brandon are top 1, 2, 3. Brandon put in that bid of 800,000. Housewife pushing in the end here for the 1.34 or whatever it was. Lorcas did place a bid, but he's not really been fighting. All three of these people, in fact, Maisie, Dehoda, these people would see great impact from that card. And you have to imagine that these, at least, okay, so we've got 5,800. Everyone above 5,000, these top 6, I bet have a real use for that card. That will move the needle. And if you end up moving from like a 60,000 DEC leaderboard performer to 100,000 because of that one card, you have to understand that that's a contribution toward your purchase. And if you can move into if it locks you down on the 200,000 every season, again, that's a contribution towards your purchase. And that's from the modern, but then the wild is certainly going to be impacted by that card as well. And same deal. Are you one of these voices? Vogdis is there and he was a bidder. Wow. Look at Necromancer, you beast. I got to have him on and talk to him. I haven't talked to him about, I did not know you were a level 6 performer, Necromancer. Okay, let's go back to the auction. See if we saw a bid. 14 minutes remaining. No, Housewife still holding it. What are you guys thinking? Are we going to see a flurry at the end, or are we just going to fizzle and there's going to be gentlemen just saying, no, Housewife first? I bet there's going to be fireworks. I'm playing a cool new game called TCG Card Shop Simulator. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking for a new game because I've been playing Splinterlands so much lately that I'm actually catching up and then running out of things to do. I played Splinterlands 250 matches this season. That's about 80 more energy than I should have had, but I've got them through chests. And I'm playing every game myself, and yet I'm regularly at zero. Like I was at zero last night. Most of yesterday I was at zero. I'm like, I want to play more. So that's where I'm at. So much so that I broke out Blizzard. I was playing StarCraft. Let's refresh. In case I have to refresh. I'm not sure if refreshing is necessary. Looks like either refreshing is not necessary or it's just because there was no bid. I will keep refreshing. 1 minute intervals or so. Who will win, says Dahoda. The calm before the storm. Less than an hour remaining. I love that it's 0001. That is so awesome. That matters, man. That matters. And add to this the fingerprint of uniqueness that this card holds to like the broadening data we track, as I showed you with my Lord of Darkness. It's got that history. Who owned it? That is cool, man. Finishing that point. The Lord of Darkness has a fingerprint. Who owned it? What if like certain accounts are like, there's controversy or fame or infamy around a certain account and they had it. That's going to be neat. That's going to be neat to watch. And this is something that wasn't always tracked or wasn't always, I guess, pointed to. 10, 11 minutes left. No, Housewife's still holding it. The music's like pretty intense too, if you can hear it right now. It's like winding up. Man, is that going to hold? Bid history. There's only a 10,000 DC differential between Housewife and Noda. Oh, not about me. I find it hard to believe that Not About Me is going to surrender on a 10,000 differential. I find it hard to believe that Not About Me is not going to come in and try and snake. Just try and last minute upbid another 100,000, I bet. You wouldn't want to go 10,000 because I bet Housewife is sitting on like the bid screen right now on two computers, like on the bid screen on 1.4 or something, right? To try and in case somebody snakes it by 10, you got to come hard. Like if you're thinking you'd be willing to pay 1.5, I would have 1.5 input on my bid window, on my phone maybe, and then on my main screen on my computer, I'd be like watching and refreshing every second to see if somebody puts in a bid. But yeah, I mean, holding it in this moment, I would almost say Not About Me is in a better position than Housewife is. Housewife trying to refresh every second and see if because I don't know. I want to see if this refreshes of its own without us hitting refresh. Because if it doesn't, I mean, Housewife's got to hit click refresh, refresh. In order to understand that she's been outbid, in order to then process their own bid quickly. And is it possible for Not About Me to drop the outbid in the last moment where there's no window for turnaround? It's really interesting to see what happened with the price here. I'm not everything under $1 million to me is not even really a bid, but to see the prices go where they went, and then these leaps happen, where Ghostly comes in 300,000 over, or Kazrak goes in 180 over, 150 over, or Vedev comes in 150 over, Mango same thing, 200 over. And then suddenly we kind of play around $1 million, like everyone hoping that it's going to kind of stay in that area. Not About Me says, no way. Like, come on, 30% raise. Like, quit fooling around. And Housewife tries to trickle in. So some voices like come in hard, and others are just like, maybe I'll put in like another 10,000 and see what happens. Who are the serious bidders? Like right now, who's watching? I'm not convinced that somebody like Melon would be paying attention in this moment. They wanted to put a bid. They wanted to put their name out there. They're interested in fighting for like next to nothing, but they're not going to come in maybe, or maybe I'm wrong. But like, I have to believe Housewife, Jeff, Jarvie, Brandon, Vugtis, Kazarak are actually watching right now and eagerly waiting to see what happens. The price is holding. We got 7 minutes left. Mark Hoare on X RuneGuard dropped in the comment 2 hours ago that the bidding will ramp up soon, or the intensity will ramp up. But that was 2 hours ago and the price is stagnant since then. 6 minutes left. What are you guys thinking about this? Seems like someone's poised to snipe at the end. You would have to believe that. Like unless all those prior bidders are just like, no, the price has gone too high. And I could make an argument for some of them saying that, right? Some of them could be like, well, I was in for 800, but I'm not paying 1.4. And that makes sense. But someone like Not About Me who literally bid 10,000 less. I just refuse to believe that they wouldn't be like, okay, I'm going to try and outbid Housewife by 10,000 right at the end. Housewife could outbid herself right at the end to block someone. I bet like that would make a lot of sense. Vugtis and above are watching eagerly. Yeah, I agree, Paul. I figured the price for this first card would be close to your projections. It's exciting to see it happening for real, though. I agree. 4.5 minutes left. This is really cool. I love this new function. People were expressed frustration about the new format, saying things like, it's only for the rich people, or the auction should be done in different ways. Like even me, I was critical around the gold foils. It would be really exciting. Think of how much more energy would go into wanting to buy this card if this card could have just immediately and by luck turned into gold foil. Instead, what they're doing is they're selling gold foils on given days. I think on day 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100, they're gold foils, I think. And so people who want gold foils will buy only on those days, I would think. But then if this card has commanded a 1.347 million DEC bid and more than one at that level with at About Me, you have to imagine that some of those bidders and buyers would go a little more, maybe a lot more, if there was a 4 or 5% chance that this card could turn gold foil. I would argue that the gold foil should be worth 5 to 10 times the price of a regular foil. 5 to 10 times. And frankly, historically, sometimes gold foils are worth 50 times the regular foil copy. I don't want to take away from the screen for too long, but just to quickly go into buy cards and just go to compare, and you go gold foil to reg foil, gold versus reg differential. So the best differentials are like 2x or minus 2x. So that's actually pretty interesting from but like, as you can see, differentials 6x, 7x, these are some, and then we get into like even crazy 15x, 20x. The differential on gold foil can be crazy. 30x, 35, 40, 50, 70, 80, 100, 200, 8,000. Like the differentials can be nuts. 2.5 minutes left. And so the differentials can be crazy on gold foil, meaning, and to presume that there's only going to be 5 gold foils ever would have to drive greater purchasing interest in every single sale, under the presumption that one could magically turn into a gold foil. That's got to be true. Now the comparison, it's not to be entirely fair and apples to apples compare. We have to recognize if we change the gold foil mechanism to being like not on day 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100, but rather on a 5% chance on any drop, we have to know that, yes, that would drive more purchasing interest on every single day on average, but it would change the days 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100 from way more interest to just a normal day. Every day could be a gold foil, so no day is a gold foil per se. Therefore, no one person is going to buy one in a crazy way. One minute left. So I don't know which of those approaches would end up with, that much more money going into the purchase of this. But clearly, 1 minute left. 1 minute left. This is cool. This is exciting. 1.347 seems low for mint one, though. If it ends at that, I don't think it'll end there though, Paul. Oh man, I think they should have done the regular foil and gold foils together, like you're saying. Gold foil should be at least 5 million, says Paul. I think you're probably right. You know, 5 million makes a lot of sense to me. I don't want to hit refresh, but I think I don't know if I have to. It might just update and it might not. I'm gonna hit refresh again. 30 seconds left. Still the same. Housewife is not going to hold at 1.347. There's no way. I bet a 1.4 bid comes in at least. 20 seconds left. Come on. This is so cool. 17 seconds left. Housewife holding it with 13 seconds left. This is crazy. I love this. This is so cool. The gold foil on day 20 is going to be nuts. 5 seconds left. Are we going to see a bid come through? What's going to happen here? I'm going to hit refresh only after. Okay, it's closed. Let's hit refresh. What happened? Did it hold at 1.347? No extra bids? Wow. No extra bid. Wow. That's wild to me. That is really, really wild. Like, I honestly would have at least thought Housewife comes in and rebids over themselves to not get scooped. Because I would argue what you said, Paul, makes a lot of sense. Like, I think it was you, Paul. Somebody could have came in and bid right at the end, 1.357, any one of those interested parties, and Housewife gets scooped. But Housewife, having gone that far, I would have thought she would have said, no, I'm going to bid 1.4 if I'm willing. If I'm willing to go that far, I'm not going to get beat by 10,000 DEC. I'm willing to throw away 60,000 DEC in a sense, if I need to, in order to lock it down or to give myself that extra edge. I would bet that people trying to snake will happen. I would bet people trying to snake this one right at the end or snipe it did happen in this auction. I just wonder if there's some complication to the process of bidding. Maybe there's one more screen where you had to click yes, or the Hive transaction didn't go through quick enough, or something like that, where that fed into it holding. And so I don't know for sure, but I find it super hard to believe that was just hours ago and everyone's like, yeah, that seems fair. I'm okay with not winning the number one issuance of that card. Surprising for sure. Could be some whiners we will see. I bet I would not be surprised at all about that for sure. The idea that somebody might have been sitting there pressing click and it didn't go through, or that they did click it and didn't process in time, or whatever, right? I have every expectation that that's true. That somebody, especially, what was the second bidder? Oh, and we're already off to a fire. We're firing on the next one for 600,000. I think it was a Not About Me with 1.337 or whatever. There's no way they weren't trying to bid again. There's just no way. I don't believe that. Red X comes in with 650. So I can see that the price does auto-populate, which means they don't need to hit refresh while I'm watching it. But we can see they're coming out hot. These are not going to matter though. Somebody's got to come in. Look at this fire, hey? Mirdorn did bid on yesterday's one as well. Not About Me is right here bidding 110. So that means Not About Me was paying attention at the end of that last bidding cycle. And for whatever reason said no. Look at this, 10,000 bid. Was this an attempt to raise yesterday's purchase by 10,000 and snipe? I wish I knew Not About Me in order to ask that question. Or are they seriously trying to just put their name on the board? I find it hard to believe Not About Me, who just bid 1.337 million, is coming in on day one drawing that bid. I think they were trying to raise their bid by 10,000. That makes sense to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but that makes sense to me. 800 holding for the time being, but 2 minutes in and people are pushing chips. 800 I don't think will hold, not even close. I think again we're going to be over 1 million easy. This escalation very rapid. It tells the interested party something, right? When the prices go, look at this, 870. Red Viper says no. 650 is okay. I'll go all the way up to 870. Mirdorn paid 6, paid 8. I bet he puts 1 million. And this immediate action on day 2 tells you something, doesn't it? It tells you that the interested parties are serious beyond day 1. It tells you that They recognize the value and utility. Both how day one performed as well as how this is starting is affirming in some people's minds that no, I'm not crazy. This is actually a powerful card. This is a meaningful card. This is a card that's worth chasing. And so some people who may be on the fence are like, okay, I feel affirmed, and I'm gonna push like I maybe imagined I might. Because it's one thing to believe or to say you're going to chase after a card or put your money where your mouth is. It's another to actually execute on that move. And so, yeah, that's fun. That's really fun. I almost want to place a bid tomorrow. I don't have 10,000 DEC. I almost want to place a bid just to see what it looks like so that I could cover it. Because to show what a bid looks like, oh, so you can do one. Okay. I might try and immediately place a bid for 1,000 tomorrow because I want to see what that screen looks like. After you hit submit bid, does it do it immediately? Is there some other screen that says, okay, you need to put your DEC in escrow, and then you have to click on that. Then there's a HiveCon transaction, and how long does that all take from start to finish? Because that actually will be helpful advice for the community. I'll try and capture that tomorrow. 600K already for the next one. Actually 870 now. I bet Not About Me tried and there was a problem. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Why would you bid 10,000 on day two? It doesn't make sense. 800K already. Too rich for my blood. Waiting for 10 to 25. I think you're meaning Brandon. Oh, Brandon, good to see you, pal. Waiting for, cards 10 through 25 make a lot of sense. Some of the interested parties will have come and been satisfied, and there may be a reduction or a decline. Even if not, reduction might not be the right word, but like a bit of a dip in the overall interest. You would think it would almost have to be. I would argue in that there's the factors that are maybe to hold on to or to consider would be the exuberance of the start. When you start the race, when you start any race, people come out sprinting. And if you know how to run and run distance, what you'll do is you'll actually start around 50 to 80% of what you can do. Because you're not trying to win the race on step one. You're actually trying to just warm the body up, make sure you don't get injured, get the blood flowing, find that rhythm, start to put some steps and some distance behind you, and therefore you get to a place where you can I can do this, I'm doing it, and we're doing great. You start to have that positive self-talk, and that's how that's the thing about winning races. And so I think what was my point? Talking about having some of the people behind you, some of those people are maybe sprinting, 1.347 with Housewife. Yes, it was the first copy, and that's pretty special. But is the second day copy way, way less more valuable? I mean, so far, people aren't saying so. But are those the sprinters that are dashing away from the start line? Because there's still 99 days of the race to go, is what I'm saying. And so maybe it makes sense to wait for day 90 because 89 other people have gotten their copy. And maybe there's a big drop off in the price point. That's maybe the slow start of the jog and letting all the people who want to sprint get out of your way. But there's a piece that I wanted to hold up against that, which is this. I think we're looking at a bull market moment. And I think Splinterlands will enjoy that. And if that is accurate over the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, what does that mean for SPS token prices and therefore purchasing power within Splinterlands, right? Because if SPS is pumping from 9/10 of a penny to 9 cents over the next 30, 60, 90 days, I'm not saying this is not a prediction. It's just a speculative conversation. Look, we're already at 900,000. What then happens to the purchasing power within the game? If some of these Splinterlands OGs or interested parties are Bitcoin investors, Ethereum investors, and they're enjoying these crazy candles. Doge went for a ride. I know, Brandon, you were talking about how you took a bite on Doge and enjoyed it like a 25% gain after the election. All these candles speak to and impact the bags of certain people in this space. And what does it do to our ability to buy assets that are limited, scarce, and powerful? Is a card like Heloise the Hollow going to be sold for less in 30, 60, 90 days because certain buyers have been satisfied? Or is it going to sell for more in 30, 60, or 90 days because the bull market is coming to crypto in that time, driving more a sloshing of liquidity and value around in the ecosystem? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to watch for sure. Very, very exciting. Would be bonkers if the non-gold foils go for higher than 001. We may look back and say Housewife got a steal. Yeah, you weren't here earlier, Brandon, but I was saying to the chat, if you look even at, like, there are only 3 cards with similar scarcity, but just look at them in terms of where their price points are at right now. The only 3 cards are Dricken, Shinlo, and the Prince Julian. And so Shinlo, there's 0 on the marketplace. You can't buy that card if you want to. Dricken has 1 copy on the marketplace, and it's listed for $2,000 US or 2.3 million DC. And Prince Julian has a few copies, the cheapest of which is $1,500 US or 1.77 million DC. And I know they're totally different cards. Dricken's a summoner, or Julian's a summoner. Dricken's a little mini, tank. Shinlo's a sneak attack magic monster. All interesting, all cool. None of them in modern either, right? But the interesting thing about them is the scarcity being very similar, 85, 90 units. And they actually have slightly lower BCX, but similar in card total. And so those are the only comparisons within the game. There is no other card with that little scarcity that has a price on it. There's no other card, period, with that little scarcity, except for Heloise the Hollow, which is going to have 95. It's going to have 100 total cards, 95 of them reg, and 5 of them gold foil. And that means it's in this conversation of price point, like reasonable price tag. It is conceivable to suggest that Heloise the Hollow, which in my opinion probably has a greater impact on the game and definitely 100% unquestionably has a greater impact on modern play, will be obviously Heloise, because it is playable in modern, whereas these are not. And so it is conceivable to argue a $1,500 or a $2,000 price tag for Heloise the Hollow for a regular foil. It's conceivable. It's, there's some justification there. I do think, especially because it's number 1 of 95, there's a real argument to be had. But here's the other side of that coin. We could be looking at a bull market moment for altcoins that touch Splinterlands, and over the next 30, 60, or 90 days drive increased liquidity into our space, and therefore price points even higher on Heloise the Hollow. On the other side of that coin, we could imagine that the bear market doesn't benefit Splinterlands in the next 99 days. Maybe it's 200 days from now that the bull market starts helping, or maybe we don't hit the next bull market. I don't think that's likely, but just thinking it all through, it's if the bull market doesn't come to us, I think your initial suggestion, Brandon, that there may be bargains to be had in the middle of the day or the middle of the pack or the middle of the auction. Day 10 to 25 might be a place of, there's plenty more days to come. I don't need to buy day 11. There's plenty more days to come. I don't need to buy day 20, 21, because I think day 20 is gold foil, first gold foil. And so the broader market is going to drive what happens. And I could absolutely see 1.347 being perceived as a deal. And yet I could also imagine a place where we see some sell for 800,000, like next week. It's maybe possible. It's certainly possible. And then one last point on that, if there are 20 people that are interested in buying this card, I think there's probably more. I'm going to say there's probably like 100 to 200 people that want this card. And I think that's why the price point is higher than 1 million. But if there's, let's say I'm wrong and there's 25 to 50. That's a small enough sample of individuals where some days they can't pay attention. Like they've got lives, they've got children, they've got work. Yes, you're probably on your phone and you're checking things, but vacation or sick days, or someone goes to the hospital and you're not caring about Splinterlands. Some buyers will be distracted across this 100-day auction to the point where there will be certain days where there is less action, not because of interest, but because of life getting in the way. And that's a variable that you can't really weigh and pull out. You just need to know that it's real. And so is it that we have 25 interested parties, or is it that we have 250 interested parties? There's a world of difference between that. And if it's 25, you could imagine life circumstances standing in the way of certain big bids, and maybe certain days being really kind of given away. Versus 250, I bet most, even if there's 10 people, if there's a 250 interested people, which I'm more in that place mentally, I think that's probably true. I think most days you're going to see a lot of stability in the price, because even if some people are brought away by life circumstances, most will still be there being competitive. 900,000 already. Brandon confirmed the card immediately goes to inventory. Getting that card on the battlefield early could offset purchase of. Yes, it could. You're so right. Just start to run away with season 1. So Housewife got it. Oh man, this is so exciting. There's so much to think about through this. I love that. Okay, so Housewife won it. Now let's go into play. And where does Housewife play? She's a modern player. Leaderboard. Housewife is currently 360 RP behind. I want to see, she just bought it. I find it hard to believe she was sleeping. Like I bet even though she didn't outbid herself, she was awake watching that auction. Let's see if she's playing right now with it. Well, Housewife might have a scholar, and then you'd have to recognize that. You'd have to recognize that the scholar might not be playing right now, but I would argue you'd want to get going. In the next 24 hours, it's gonna be really fun to sit back and watch the leaderboard of the top battles from Champion and see when that starts coming through. Because you're right, if it's playable, it's going to represent a distinct advantage today and a diminishing advantage every day for the next 99 days. As some of your competitors, as tomorrow one or more competitor has it, you no longer have that distinct advantage. My bid yesterday for 800K came directly from Doge pop off nice on election, which I sold and moved into SPL. Popping crypto tokens will definitely raise asset prices. Yes, it will. You are missing Archmage Arias. Yeah, Archmage Arias, you're right, actually. I don't know if he's, I think he might be 400. Is that right? Okay, my bad. You're right. I'm going to start referencing him too. Thank you for that. Archmage Arias as well. And look at this. Archmage Arias on the gold foil too. Check this out. There's 4 of them or something like that. Let me see. Archmage Arias. There are literally only 3 copies of this card in existence. So they're all max level. Dricken. There's only 1 copy of Dricken because it's 4 BCX brought together. And Julian. There's 28 BCX, but there's only 7 remaining cards. And none of them are listed. So who knows what the price point on this could be, right? Meaning, who really knows what a gold foil Heloise the Hollow will end up going for. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm getting hungry. And I've been live for, what has it been now? 2 hours? Hour 40? Yeah, just shy of 2. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for supporting the channel. I hope you're having an awesome day. Brandon, good luck on day 10 or 11. 10 would be a cool one because it'll be like 10 is a nice clean number. I bet there will be some sort of interesting price action on certain numbers, like lucky number 7 or... I would love to get 12. If crypto did what I wanted to in the meantime, I would be after 12. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And I hope you get number 10 or there quickly thereafter, because that card does matter. And the sooner you get it, the more impact it's going to have. Okay. You guys are awesome. Have an awesome day. Bye for now. God bless.